Welcome back to Be Productive. I'm your host, Clara Capano. We are talking about being strategic and how that helps us in our level of productivity so that we can achieve the goals that we want in leadership, business, and in all aspects of our lives. What I want to talk about now is the impact of strong decisions. As leaders, we have to make countless decisions every day. We want to make sure that we are really thoughtful and purposeful so that we can deliver decisions that are going to have true impact. And to help us with this conversation, I have my friend Ryan Herpin, who's coming back, and he is an impact strategist. So, Ryan, welcome back to the show.
It's always a pleasure.
It is always great having you here. You are a wealth of knowledge and my new catchphrase for the year is taking things from high level to eye level, really getting out of just the strategy and let's get tactical. And that's what I want to do with you today is talk with you a little bit about how can we be more tactical in our decision making, because good decisions lead to high productivity and then high profit. So looking at data, we need to have data. That is sort of the nuts and bolts. So, talk to a little bit about how can we as leaders and business owners leverage data to help us make higher quality decisions.
Yeah. First and foremost, you have to be able to identify key metrics that align with the objectives and then implement systems to collect and analyze that relevant data. That is the first stepping stone to be able to actually use any kind of data, right?
Mhm.
By turning raw numbers into actionable insights, leaders can make decisions that are both strategic and impactful to the business overall. But when you have good data, you can make decisions that you would never know you had. You can take opportunities you didn't know existed. But it's critical to have good, relevant data.
Yeah. Now, are there any touch points that people should really look at, like some overarching metrics that they really should be looking at?
Yes, so it really depends on the type of business. It can change a little bit, but there's always going to be the bottom line that you got to look at, right? That's the whole metric that it pretty much dictates everything else, but ultimately time. Time is a very good metric if you can measure it, especially with like in manufacturing or anything of that nature where you have indirect versus direct time. That's very, very critical. It's utilization of time as well as purchasing power, available funds, things like that. It's all very, very important to understand, but collect with clarity.
Definitely. Now, let's be honest though, when it comes to metrics, there's certain personality styles, I will call them, that are out there, and we say the word metric and they just are like zoned out because they don't like numbers. How can somebody who is averse to reviewing these numbers start to leverage this? Because we have to look at the metrics. Is it better to just delegate that out? Do you help connect them with a bigger vision of how it's going to help them to get them at least somewhat plugged in?
So I found it is a matter of perspective, right?
Mhm.
So early in my career, my business partner and I, we came up with a strategy we call the cardboard and crayon method. When you're dealing with people that are not so number savvy, but you have to be able to express the measurements and the impact that they have, we set up a smiley face, frowny face for team members within a business. And if they met certain numbers, all they saw was a smiley face or frowny face. So they knew if they were doing well or not. And when you had enough smiley face, it's just like children. I hate to say it like this, but it's the same thing that works with us. When we know we're doing well, we like to stay in that momentum and it motivates us. And when we're not doing well, we like to know so we can adjust, or at least some of us. But I think it's a matter of perspective and how to communicate it so it's not just number based. It could be really anything, get creative, and it works.
I love that. That's fantastic. Again, sometimes just getting back to the basics, and really looking at those rewards. Now, with data, there's a lot of different touch points. It can be a bit overwhelming. And sometimes I think there's also a threat that we can be too data driven. So, in looking at the data, what are also some pitfalls that we might want to be aware of so that we don't get too off track?
Businesses should avoid overloading on irrelevant data, ignoring human intuition, and failing to act on insights. A focused, actionable approach that combines data with experience ensures better outcomes and avoids the analysis paralysis, I like to say.
Mhm.
It's really, really important to not waste your time spinning your wheels on information that doesn't matter. And we also have to listen to our gut. As business owners, entrepreneurs, we all know our gut talks to us sometimes. And a lot of the time, it's good to listen to it. But it's even more powerful when you have good data that supports what your gut's telling you.
Mhm. And I think it's also really important as you tie this in to either have a coach, a mentor, a mastermind group to keep you in check. Because sometimes we don't know that something is irrelevant, and then we start spinning out of control and going down the rabbit hole. So, to be able to have somebody that's going to kind of pull us back and be like, this is not relevant for you. So, I encourage anyone out there who's in business, again, get somebody on your team to help you to stay in check and to work with these. Since you are a strategist in this area and work with people all day long, I would love to see if you can share an example of maybe somebody that you've worked with to help them with all of these items to help them make better decisions.
This is a pretty easy one. This is probably one of the better examples I have that's easily communicated. For one of my clients, just analyzing the customer purchasing patterns revealed some untapped demand for a variation to one of their top selling products. By adjusting their inventory and marketing strategy, they were able to increase their sales by right about 20% within 3 months. This transformation highlighted the power of actionable data driven insight.
That's so cool. When we track, we learn. And, that's something that I've learned in my business too, is just tracking all the things. Like you said, not just the numbers, the actions, the energy level, the money. You have to really do that. And when you start to track, you start to really see what's working, what isn't working, so that you can reapproach and adapt. So those are all fantastic strategies. The more clarity we have, the more information to make higher quality decisions. And that's really what it's all about. So, Ryan, I know that you have so much going on, and I know other people are going to be interested in connecting with you. So, talk to us a little bit. What are some things that you have going on right now that you're excited about, and where can people find you?
Yep. So here soon, I will be launching my new show on the Now Media Network called The Bottom Line, as well as I recently became a published author, co-authored a book with Jim Britt, Jim Lutz, and Les Brown, incredible people. And currently have a new book in the works as well. So things are moving pretty quickly.
I love that. Yeah, and you're all over, LinkedIn, you got your website,
Yep.
so a wealth of knowledge. So, Ryan, thank you so much for being here. And for those of you that are watching, make sure to check out the new show all about the bottom line because, to get productive, you also got to get to the bottom line and connect with Ryan, connect with me, make sure that you're implementing these. Good decisions lead to high profit. So let's make sure that we are taking these insights and putting them into play. I'm Clara Capano, and we'll be back with more Be Productive.